Biosergen is actually a Nordic company. So the invention is from Norway. The company is Swedish. We have a board that is mainly Swedish. I am from Denmark. I'm born into a Swedish-Danish family, but my Swedish pronunciation is so bad. So I'm going to entertain you in English, if you don't mind. So what we do in Biosergen is we're combating life-threatening fungal infections, also called invasive fungal infection. And if you look at it globally, approximately 6.6 million people are affected by life-threatening fungal infections. And approximately 2.6 million out of the 6.6 will die of the actual fungal infection. Biosergen has decided that we would go into that therapeutic field with a huge unmet medical need. We have a lead compound, BSG005, that offers a broad spectrum coverage. And we think we are surpassing current treatments in the market. When you talk about antifungal, there are kind of two types. One is fungistatic. So it inhibits the growth of the fungus. When it inhibits, it means that there's a risk of mutation, and then you form resistance towards treatment, and then the treatment becomes ineffective. The other type of antifungal is actually fungicidal. So they kill the fungus, so you don't have the problem with resistance formation. But the fungicidal compounds, antifungals, they actually have severe toxicity. So they have severe side effects. It can be kidney damage, it can be liver damage, and often these side effects are permanent negative effect. BSG005, Biosergen's product, is fungicidal. So we are actually killing the fungus. But we have shown in both preclinical data and in our phase 1 study that we don't have the significant side effects that we have seen previously with the fungicidal products. We are currently doing a proof of concept study in patients, and we have successfully treated the first patient. I'll come back to that. We have also, in connection with our proof of concept study, decided we needed a partner. So we have partnered up with Alkem, which is an Indian top 5 pharmaceutical company, and we have agreed with them that they, for the future, we will do this proof of concept, but they will fund our phase 2 and phase 3 in India. So our aim is to position BSG005 as first-line therapy for invasive fungal infection based on we have the fungicidal effect, and at the same time we are broad spectrum. We don't have the risk of resistance formation, so the treatment will continue to work. And then our safety profile is beneficial. We don't have the same toxicity as the current fungicidal products. I want to go back to the numbers. So basically, you could say that the cancer that are killing most people today is lung cancer, and approximately 1.7 million people die from lung cancer. 2.5 million die of a fungal infection. So that's 30% more that die of a fungal infection. Then, at the same time, we have the drug resistance, which is like when we talk about the fungistatic compounds, you form resistance. And it's very normal that you use pesticides, use antifungals to spray in agriculture. So there's a high risk of resistant formation of the different fungal strains. So this is why the European Centre of Disease Control and WHO has actually declared this a global health threat. Fungal infections today are seen as a global health threat. This here is, so in January 2024, 2 journalist, very, very good journalist from a Danish newspaper, they actually started looking into Rigshospitalet, the #1 hospital in Denmark. And they have disclosed that Rigshospitalet have issues. There's mold growing in Rigshospitalet. So they disclosed that 2 children with leukemia contracted a severe fungal infection, and it was probably from the ventilation system. And one child died. The other one had reduced or has reduced breathing capacity, and he still has. They also disclosed during the spring many more cases. So what I want to say with that is that fungal infections are airborne. Fungal infection can come from wet surfaces, from soil, from anywhere in the environment. They're global. And I think what is also important to remember is there are certain patients or people that are more vulnerable for these infections. It's cancer patients, it's HIV patients, it's transplant patients, but you have also discovered that patients with diabetes and COPD have a high risk of a life-threatening fungal disease. So a little bit about the market. So the overall antifungal market. So that's acute care. It's what you take as a tablet, an oral, topical. It's approximately 16 billion market. If we look at the acute care, which is where Biosergen is, then the acute care part, which are fungicidal, the polyenes, it's approximately 1 billion market overall, and it's expected to grow at a rate of 6.6% per year. And if you have a product that are coming into this market and you are fungicidal, you're more safe, we believe that we will surpass the 6.6 growth per year and have a higher growth rate. So a little bit about the molecule in itself. It's a novel polyene macrolide for severe invasive fungal disease. It is genetically improved polyene. So it's a known class of drugs. We know how it works. BSG was designed to be more specifically binding to the fungal wall than the current existing polyene. So it doesn't bind to normal tissue in the body, which means it's safe, it's more safe. You don't have a lot of side effects because it's only targeting the fungal wall. It's free. We have shown in our phase 1 that it's free of this kidney toxicity. It's free of cardiovascular, central nervous, and respiratory adverse events. It's fungicidal. I think I've said that many times, so it's killing the fungus, and thereby, just to give an analog, the current drugs in this class, the polyene, they have been on the market for 70 years, and they have no resistant formation. So they kill fungus, and patients don't become resistant to treatment. So here we have another diagram, which is one of our preclinical studies. So on the top, you have the different fungal strain, Candida, Aspergillus, Fusarium, Mucor, Cryptococcus. Those are the majority of these serious invasive fungal infections that are causing this. As you can see, BSG-005 is broad spectrum. Just below, you have our main competitor, amphotericin B. The issue is the side effects. So if you're a treating physician, you are not only thinking about getting control of the fungal disease. You don't want to give a drug that gives severe side effects and maybe permanent damage to your kidney or your lungs or your liver. So you limit the dosage of amphotericin B, and you limit the duration where you can get it. If we then, and it's often second line or third line or fourth line. You don't want to start with amphotericin B. So you go down And then you can see you want to treat with those who doesn't give you side effects. But if you look at it, you can see it's not broad spectrum. It's like it can't, fluoroconazole can't hit aspergillus. So there's a lot of drawbacks with those compounds that are called azoles or echinocandins that are fungistatic. So therefore, we believe we actually have a case. A little bit about Alkem, our partner, our commercial partner. We are doing our first study in India, and there's a high incidence and awareness of invasive fungal in India, and that meant that we were looking for a partner with Alkem. And we tied the knot with Alkem, and as mentioned before, they will fund our phase 2 and 3 trial in India. And I would say this investment will then be converted into Biosergen shares at a premium, and that will happen at the time when they finalize these studies. Alkem will have the commercial right in India, and then will receive royalties from that deal. This is the proof of concept study in patients. You could say the study aims to evaluate BST-005 as a rescue treatment based on the promising safety and efficacy results. I think in the interest of time, I think I'll skip to the next one here. So in total, we have 12 intensive care units that are recruiting to this study. And those patients that are entering study have a severe fungal infection, and they are not able to tolerate the current treatment, or it's not effective. So we are going for, as a last resort, for treatment in these patients. The recruitment is ongoing. In total, we're going to have 15 patients, and we have cohorts of 5, and we hope to report to the public on an ongoing basis. And the last patient, last visit, and top-line data is estimated to come out in January 2025. I have to tell you about the first patient. The first patient is a 47-year-old male with uncontrolled diabetes, and he presented at the clinic or the ICU with fever, cough, and he was coughing fresh blood. He underwent a biopsy, lung biopsy, and you found out he has mucormycosis. Mucormycosis is also called black fungus, and it's one of the most, how can I say, it's a disease that are eating soft tissue and bone from inside, and it's super, super difficult to treat. He entered the study. He had moderate renal impairment, and standard of care is that after 14 days of treatment, then you go into surgery and you remove the tissue. And in this case, you had to remove one of his lungs. So he entered the study. He was dosed with BST-005. When the investigator or the physician came to day 14, he said, "I'm not going to do any surgery on this patient. I'm going to continue and see what happens." And actually, the patient recovered with both his lungs preserved. His renal parameters normalized, his electrolytes normalized, and there were no major safety issues during the treatment with BST-005. Then you can say it's one case, it's one-off. So this here, I want to circle back to previous evidence. And previous evidence in our phase 2 or in our phase 1 trial in healthy subjects showed that we do not have severe side effects. Also, we have done animal studies where we also have shown that we are the lowest graph here on the right side. I don't know. So you could say, if you look at the graph on the right, then you can see BST-005 have a flat curve, whereas amphotericin B has a linear curve up, meaning basically in this animal model that we don't have the same kind of kidney damage. Patent, we have a good patent portfolio. We are protected until 2043. Development steps, we're doing the proof of concept. We expect to go into regulatory discussion in 2025. We're also expecting to produce more material. And then we start our phase 2-3 in 2026. And we also expect to start partnering discussions as soon as we have top-line data from our clinical study. This is an illustration of previous deals in the area, 2019 to 2023. It's about approximately $500 to $600 million US. None of these compounds are fungicidal or have a broad spectrum as BST-05, but it gives you an idea on what range we are in. So what I want to say is we have a BST-005 has a comprehensive antifungal efficacy. We don't have the risk of resistant formation, and it seems like we're safe. We have a partnership with Alchem, where they will finance a huge chunk of our research and development expenses. Then you saw the patent protection, which was super, or not super, which is pretty good, I would say. And then I also showed you the results from the first patient, and we hope more patients will have the same positive outcome, but time will show. This is the board of directors, or it's our management, and then it's the board of directors. There might be some names you recognize. Moberg Pharma, Anna Jung, Mathias Klindemar fra Østersøstiftelsen. I think you're familiar with those names. This is about the shareholders in Biosergen. You can see Østersøstiftelsen is the largest shareholder, Ribskottet, Rosetta Capital, Tuvedal, Hans Witzsal. I'm not very good at the Swedish pronunciation, but he's a medical doctor and an investor as well. So all in all, I would say we offer, here is the possibility to partake in warrants of series TO3. It's a very good offer we're coming out with, and the exercise period is from 18th of November to 29th of November in 2024. So it's basically everything I want to say. I would say our CFO, Niels, is sitting here. Any questions on finance, etc., I would ask him to answer that. But any questions at all from anyone are, of course, welcome. And you can do it in Swedish. I understand Swedish, but I will answer in English.
Thank you very much, Tine. I go for the first question. Is this disease, is it difficult to diagnose? I mean, if you're going to treat the patients, how difficult it is to just find the right disease, right?
It takes time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I think we come in, because when you are the mucormycosis patient, you took up a biopsy and you can see with your eye that this is like what it is. But other fungal infections often have to be cultured. So you grow it in a little petri dish, then you look at the colors and how much and blah, blah, blah. And it takes time. Mm. And that's the place where I think it's very, very good to have a broad spectrum medication to actually treat up front. So you can get into over the first hurdle, you can begin to treat, and then you can continue with the appropriate.
I understand. What about the competition in this area when it comes to other providers of solutions for this problem? Is it many other companies that are researching this field, or are you?
No, so it's not like, I wouldn't say it's overcrowded like oncology.
Uh-huh.
It's not. I think we're struggling a little bit with funding in general. but there's more and more awareness. So after COVID, infectious diseases got much more tailwind because you began to think that, okay, infectious diseases, pandemic, we can all get it. And one of the things we haven't talked about is like we are broad spectrum and we can hit some of the most important invasive fungal infections that few people can. So we are also having a little tango with the American authorities. And as soon as we have an open IND, we can go in serious discussion and discuss things like stockpiling and how is the U.S. government interested in securing the people, which they often are.
Yeah, and so it's another question. You have your this very good agreement with Alchem, which funds the development, right? Is that good enough for registration globally? The Indian way, is that the same as in the US or in Europe or elsewhere?
No, I think, and I think all of you know, that if you do a clinical trial, you need to have different ethnicity, need to have different race. You want to see that this is as good as it, it's the same in any race or same ethnicity or whatever. So with the pre-IND and meeting, and we also expected to have a discussion with FDA, how much are we going to add on the Indian study?
Yeah, okay.
To secure we have the right composition of race and ethnicity.
Yeah, I understand. Quite happy news with the first patient. Will we be updated in the upcoming month, or do we need to wait until January to get more results from the ongoing study? So
since it is an open label study, we're going to report, maybe not on individual patient, but we're going to report on the progress on the study, how we're doing, etc. It's not because we're hiding anything, but we also have to respect it. Maybe one case is like limited information, so maybe it's better to report a little broader. Yeah. But we had to come out with this first patient. It was like I got goosebumps when I saw it. Was like, oh, it can't be true.
No, I understand that. I mean, the next step, if the results look like this in January, I guess you will move forward with the next phase of development, right? And when is that?
Yeah, so we need new material. We need new medication. We need to upgrade our manufacturing process so we can live up to phase 2 requirements. Yeah, and that's 2025. And then 2026, we're gonna both have feedback from FDA, and at the same time, Alchem will be ready to start up the clinical trial. So, and I think the first one will probably be Aspergillus, which is the place where we have orphan drug designation in the United States.
Okay, exciting. Another question regarding the treatment. I mean, if you go all the way, what do you think the cost will approximately be for a patient to be treated?
Really difficult question because we
understand.
We dose based on a per kilogram. Yeah. What I can say is our amphotericin B, who is our main competitor, has a price of a vial in the United States of approximately $300 per vial. Europe, I think it's 289 or almost 300. And we will, based on our promising profile, expect a 50% premium. Okay. But the treatment for one patient is depending on the dose, the kilogram, and the duration. So, but it gives you an idea of what range. And the as I said, the 0.9, the 1 billion is our competitor. So that's where we're gonna hook up and see if we can get a major market share of that.
Yeah, of course. You also talked about partners. I mean, you have your Indian partner. You will look for more. Is that something we can expect going forward, or when you have the result, I guess you will start negotiating, right? Or what's the timeline?
I think I think we need a little more than one case, but we are beginning to kind of look at who would be an appropriate partner, and then we'll start discussing. It takes time. It takes time to get an agreement. But I think when we reach the point where we have top-line results, then I think we're going into a more serious phase and focusing on getting a partner for the rest of the world.
Yeah, okay. And that's this early. You don't need to bring it until phase 3 or something like that?
No, I mean, we will have to see.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
We'll have to see how our warrants are panning out. We have to see what's coming next around the corner.
Yes, of course. Lots of unknown parameters, right? Thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you. And thank you for having us here. Yeah.